Every kid has a breaking point. For 7-year-old Michael Jackson, it came on a Tuesday afternoon in October 1965, when Derek Thompson knocked his lunch tray out of his hands. The tray clattered to the cafeteria floor, spaghetti and milk everywhere. 200 students watching. "Oops," Derek said, not sounding sorry at all. "Guess you better clean that up, dance boy." Michael stood there, sauce on his shoes, feeling every eye on him, feeling the humiliation wash over him like a wave. This wasn't the first time. Derek had been bullying him for months, tripping him in the hallway, mocking how he moved, making fun of his voice, and Michael had taken it, quietly, because that's what his mother taught him. Don't fight, don't cause trouble, just focus on your schoolwork. But as Michael knelt down to clean up the mess, something inside him snapped. He was done being quiet, done being the target, done letting Derek Thompson make him feel small. When the teacher announced a school talent show the next day, Michael knew what he had to do. He was going to show Derek and everyone else who he really was. And Derek Thompson was going to regret every laugh, every taunt, every moment he'd made Michael feel worthless. Because Michael Jackson was about to prove that quiet doesn't mean weak, it means waiting for the right moment. October 1965, Garnett Elementary School, Gary, Indiana. Michael Jackson was in 2nd grade, 7 years old, small for his age, quiet in class. The kind of kid who sat in the back and tried not to draw attention to himself. But Derek Thompson had noticed him anyway. Derek was 10 years old and still in 4th grade. He'd been held back twice. He was bigger than most kids his age, and he used that size to intimidate anyone smaller than him. And Michael, small, quiet, different, was the perfect target. It started with small things. Derek would accidentally bump into Michael in the hallway, would make comments about Michael's clothes, hand-me-downs from his older brothers that didn't quite fit right. Then, Derek discovered that Michael liked to dance. He'd caught Michael moving to music in his head during recess, saw him doing little steps when he thought no one was watching. "What are you doing, Jackson? You look stupid." Michael had stopped immediately, embarrassed. But Derek didn't let it go. He started calling Michael "dance boy" in a mocking tone, would do exaggerated, clumsy movements whenever Michael walked by. "Look everyone, dance boy is here. Show us your moves, dance boy." Other kids would laugh. Not because they thought it was funny, but because they were relieved Derek wasn't targeting them. Michael tried to ignore it, tried to follow his mother's advice about not causing trouble. But Derek kept pushing, kept testing, kept finding new ways to humiliate him. The incident in the cafeteria was the final straw. Michael had been carrying his lunch tray trying to find a place to sit when Derek stuck his foot out. Michael saw it coming, tried to step over it, but Derek lifted his foot at the last second, catching the tray and sending it flying. Spaghetti, milk, sauce, all over the floor, all over Michael's shoes. The cafeteria went quiet. "Oops," Derek said, grinning. "Guess dance boy isn't so graceful after all." His friends laughed, that mean laughter that cuts deeper than any physical pain. Michael stood there, frozen. He could feel tears building behind his eyes, but he refused to cry, refused to give Derek that satisfaction. The lunch monitor, Mrs. Henderson, rushed over. "Derek Thompson, principal's office." Now Derek shrugged and walked out, still smirking. Mrs. Henderson helped Michael clean up. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" "Yes, ma'am," Michael said quietly, but he wasn't okay. He was tired. Tired of being the victim, tired of being scared to be himself at school. That night, Michael told his mother what happened. Catherine held him while he cried, real tears this time, the kind that had been building for months. "Why does he hate me, Mama? I never did anything to him." "He doesn't hate you, baby. He's a hurt person, and hurt people hurt other people. That doesn't make it right, but it's not about you. I wish I could show him. I wish I could show everyone that I'm not what he says I am." Catherine pulled back to look at her son. "Show them what?" "That I can dance, that I'm good at it, that I'm not stupid or weird, I'm just me." "Then show them." "How?" Catherine thought for a moment. "Doesn't your school do a talent show every year?" Michael nodded. "It's next month." "But Mama, what if I perform and everyone laughs? What if Derek's right and I'm not good?" "Baby, listen to me. You perform at clubs with your brothers. You've won talent shows against adults. You know you're good. The only person who doesn't know it is you, at least at school. But what if, no what ifs? You're going to sign up for that talent show. You're going to show that school, show Derek Thompson, who you really are. And you know what's going to happen. What? They're going to realize they've been looking at you all wrong. And Derek Thompson is going to feel very, very small." The next day, the teacher announced sign-ups for the school talent show. "It's 3 weeks away," Mrs. Morrison said. "Anyone interested in performing should put their name on the sheet outside the principal's office." Derek leaned over to his friend. "Bet Dance Boy doesn't have the guts to sign up." But Michael heard him, and something his mother had said the night before echoed in his mind. Show them who you really are. At recess, Michael walked to the sign-up sheet. His hand was shaking as he wrote his name. Derek saw him. "No way! You actually signed up?" Michael turned to face him. For the first time in months, he looked Derek directly in the eyes. "Yeah, I signed up." "What are you going to do? Show everyone your stupid dancing?" "Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do." Derek laughed. "This is going to be hilarious. Everyone's going to laugh at you." "Maybe," Michael said quietly, "or maybe you'll be surprised." He walked away before Derek could respond, his heart pounding. But he felt something else, too. Something he hadn't felt at school in a long time. Confidence. For the next 3 weeks, Michael practiced like his life depended on it. At home, he worked with his brothers on choreography. They helped him put together a routine that was better than anything he'd ever done. "You're going to kill it," Jermaine said. "That school has no idea what's coming." Joe watched one of Michael's practice sessions and nodded. "Good. Show them what a Jackson can do." But it was Catherine who really understood what this performance meant. "This isn't just about dancing, is it, baby?" "No, Mama. It's about showing them I'm not who they think I am." "You know what I think? I think you're about to teach everyone, especially Derek Thompson, an important lesson." "What lesson?" "That you should never underestimate someone just because they're quiet. Because sometimes quiet people are quiet because they're powerful, and they're waiting for the right moment to show it." The day of the talent show arrived. The entire school packed into the gymnasium. 300 students, teachers, parents. The energy was electric with anticipation. Michael sat backstage with the other performers. His stomach was doing flips. His hands were sweating. What if his mother was wrong? What if he performed and everyone laughed? What if Derek was right? Mrs. Morrison, who was coordinating the show, knelt down next to him. "Michael, are you ready?" "I think so. I've seen you moving during recess. When you think no one's watching, you're talented. Really talented. So whatever happens out there, remember, you know what you're doing. Trust yourself." Michael nodded, not trusting his voice. The show began. There was a girl who played piano, a boy who told jokes, a group of 5th graders who did a skit. And then it was Michael's turn. "Our next performer is Michael Jackson from Mrs. Morrison's 2nd grade class." Michael walked onto the stage. The gym was so big, so many faces staring at him. He saw Derek in the 3rd row already smirking, already waiting for Michael to fail. But then Michael saw his mother. She'd come to watch. She sat in the back row, and when their eyes met, she smiled and mouthed, "Show them, baby." The music started, a song Michael had chosen specifically, "My Girl" by The Temptations. For the first few seconds, Michael just stood there. The gym was quiet, waiting. And then Michael started to move. The transformation was instant. The quiet, shy kid who sat in the back of class disappeared. In his place was someone else entirely, someone confident, someone electric, someone who moved like he'd been born to perform. Michael's feet moved in ways that seemed impossible for a 7-year-old. Fast, precise, creating rhythms with the music. He spun, smooth, controlled. Nothing like the clumsy movements Derek had been mocking. The gym went from quiet to buzzing with whispers. Is that really Michael Jackson? I didn't know he could move like that. Where did he learn to do that? Michael wasn't just dancing, he was performing. His whole body told a story. His face showed emotion. His movements were so polished, so professional, that it was hard to believe he was 7 years old. In the audience, Mrs. Morrison's mouth fell open. She'd known Michael was talented, but this was something else entirely. Catherine watched with tears in her eyes. Her baby was showing them, showing all of them. And Derek Thompson? Derek sat in the third row, his smirk slowly fading, his face going from amused to confused to something that looked like shock. Michael hit the final move, a spin that ended in a freeze position that brought the gym to its feet. The applause was deafening. 300 students standing, cheering, screaming for Michael Jackson, for Dance Boy, for the quiet kid they'd been ignoring or mocking for months. Michael stood on that stage, breathing hard, looking out at the standing ovation, and he felt something shift inside him. He wasn't scared anymore. He wasn't small. He wasn't the victim. He was exactly who his mother said he was, powerful, just waiting for the right moment to show it. After the show, kids crowded around Michael. That was amazing. Can you teach me those moves? Where did you learn to dance like that? Michael answered their questions politely, but he was looking for one person. Derek Thompson stood by the gym exit, watching. His friends had abandoned him, too busy trying to talk to Michael. Michael walked over to him. Derek looked defensive, angry, but also something else. Something that looked like respect mixed with shame. Where did you learn that? Derek asked. His voice had lost its mocking edge. My brothers and I perform. At clubs. Talent shows. We're pretty good. Pretty good? Derek shook his head. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, you didn't know a lot about me. They stood there for a moment. Derek struggling with something. I'm sorry, Derek finally said, for calling you names, for knocking your tray, for everything. Michael could have said something mean, could have made Derek feel as small as Derek had made him feel. But that wasn't who Michael was. It's okay. Just, maybe don't judge people before you know them, you know? Derek nodded. Yeah, I get it. From that day forward, Derek never bothered Michael again. In fact, he went out of his way to be nice. Not fake nice, genuine nice. The kind that comes from learning a hard lesson. Mrs. Morrison pulled Michael aside before he left. Michael, that was extraordinary. Why didn't you tell anyone you could perform like that? I didn't want to show off, Michael said. That wasn't showing off. That was sharing a gift. You know what I learned today? That quiet kids aren't always shy kids. Sometimes they're just waiting for the right moment. She paused. How long have you been performing? Since I was 5, with my brothers. We're trying to get a record deal. Mrs. Morrison smiled. If you perform like that, you'll get more than a record deal. You're going to be famous someday, Michael Jackson. Mark my words. That night, the Jackson family celebrated. Joe was pleased. You showed them what discipline and practice can do. But Catherine understood it was more than that. How do you feel, baby? She asked when they were alone. Different, Michael said. Like I don't have to hide anymore. Like I can be myself, all of myself, even at school. That's because you learned something important today. What? That being different isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to celebrate. Derek Thompson tried to make you feel small because you were different. But your difference is what makes you special. Michael thought about that. Mama, why was Derek so mean to me? I think Derek was angry about his own life. And it's easier to hurt someone else than to deal with your own pain. But you know what you did today? You didn't hurt him back. You showed him grace. And that taught him more than any punishment could have. Years later, in a 1993 interview with Oprah, Michael was asked about dealing with bullies as a child. There was a kid at my school who made fun of me for dancing, for being different. He made my life pretty miserable for a while. How did you handle it? There was a talent show. I performed, and after that, everything changed. Not just with him, but with how I saw myself. I realized that the things people make fun of you for are often your greatest strengths. Being different, moving to my own rhythm, those weren't weaknesses. Those were my superpowers. Did you ever see that bully again? Michael smiled. Years later, after I'd become famous, I got a letter from him. He apologized, said that watching me perform that day changed his life too. Made him realize that hurting people to feel better about yourself doesn't work. He became a teacher, works with troubled kids now, helps them find positive outlets instead of bullying. So your performance didn't just change your life, it changed his too. I guess so. That's the thing about standing up for yourself, about showing people who you really are. It doesn't just free you. Sometimes it frees them too. October 1965 lasted only a few minutes on that gymnasium stage. But those few minutes taught 7-year-old Michael Jackson something he would carry with him for the rest of his life. That being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength. That quiet doesn't mean powerless. Sometimes it means patient. That the people who try to make you feel small are usually the ones who feel smallest inside. And that the best revenge isn't hurting someone back. It's showing them, and everyone else, that they were wrong about you all along. Michael Jackson walked onto that stage as a victim. He walked off as someone who understood his own power. And Derek Thompson learned that the quiet kid he'd been tormenting wasn't quiet because he was weak. He was quiet because he was saving his voice for something louder than Derek could ever shout. A performance that would silence every doubt, every taunt, every cruel word. With movement, with grace, with undeniable talent. The kind of talent that makes bullies look small and makes everyone else look up in wonder.